हरे कृष्ण। ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna. We will also see what Prabhupada has to say. The same line, this section. Saunaka Vacha Mahim Pratishtham Adasya Saute Swayambho Manuhu Kan Anyatishtat Dwarani Margayavara Janmana. He says, Saunaka is inspired. Also, the Goswami, after the earth was again situated in its orbit, what did Swayambhu Manu do to show the path of liberation to persons who were to take birth later on? We'll see what Prabhupada says. The appearance of the Lord as the firstborn incarnations occurred during time of Swayambhu Manu, whereas the present age is the period of Vaivasvat Manu. So he gives the calculation. It is understood here that Manu creates scriptural regulations for the salvation of conditioned souls who come to the material world for material enjoyment. So he's talking about Manu Samhita. It's a very nice book for following the standards, what a person should follow. Nowadays, there is so much dispute in India. Some of them, they burn Manu Samhita. They don't understand. It's a book to help. It's not book to discriminate. People, they don't understand the spirit behind it. The Lord is so kind that any soul who wants to enjoy in this world is given full facility for enjoyment. This is very, very important point. Lord is giving full facilities for enjoyment. Even if somebody want to live in the material world, Lord says, okay, fine with me. But if you want to enjoy, you follow the rules. And for that, there are Manus and all these people. Very time he show the path of salvation. Saunaka Rishi therefore inquired Suta Goswami, what did Swayambhu Manu do after the reinstatement of Earth in its orbital situation? Now, if you want to enjoy, you have to follow certain rules. Say, I want to stay in the city, I have to follow the rules of the city, then I can be peaceful. You have to, a particular time of the day, you cannot play loud music after 10. You have to follow the traffic rules, you have to pay for the bills, you have to maintain cleanliness, you have to dispose your garbage properly. There are some rules which will uh, which is very important. You want to take a permission if you want to do some organize some big event or something. So there are certain rules to be followed. Then you can peacefully live with all these rules following. And who is setting the rules? This is by Manus. Chatta Mahabhagavata Krishnasya Suhurt Yah Tatyagajam Krishne Sapatnyam Aghavaniti. Sanaka Rishi inquired about Vidra, who was a great devotee and friend of Lord Krishna and who gave up company of their elder brother because the latter, along with his sons, played tricks against the desires of the Lord. Prabhupada writes, the incident referred to here is that Vidura left the protection of his elder brother Dhritarashtra when traveling everywhere to sacred places and met Maitreya at Haridwar. Sanka Rishi here inquires about the topics of conversation between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura. Vidura's qualification was that he was not only a friend of the Lord, but also a great devotee. When Lord Krishna tried to stop the war and mitigate the misunderstanding between the cousin brothers, they refused to accept his counsel. Therefore, Kshatta or Vidura was unsatisfied with them and he left the palace. As a devotee, Vidura showed by example that anywhere that Krishna is not honored is a place unfit for human habitation. It's a very nice point. For us now, we have to stay where devotees are staying, which is very important for us. Or you create devotees, or at least they should respect devotees. That is very important for our personal practice of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we may also lose the taste. If a family is not favorable, we have to behave in such a way, at least they cooperate. They don't speak ill about Krishna. That is the responsibility. If they are grossly demonic, then we cannot do. But if they are in a neutral state, we should not make them negative. What happens sometimes devotees behave in such a way that the family members become anti towards Krishna conscious movement. They say these people are too fanatic. Why it happens? They create insecurity in their family members because of their behavior. They become fanatic also, and then they make them feel that we are superior, you are inferior. So these are the things that happens in the families. Vidra did not create insecurity, did not create that I am superior, you are inferior, but they're grossly ignorant, like Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. They try to offend Krishna, they try to tie Krishna and all these things. That's why Vidra had to live. Otherwise, if they are even in a neutral state, Vidra, there because of Vidra's behavior, they would have at least okay, they are appreciative. That is a responsibility. If your behavior, generally what happens when people come initially to Krishna conscious, immediately the devotee himself is insecure. And to establish that he is right, he will try to prove everybody wrong. That that's why the behavior is like that, and he creates so many uncomfortable situation for himself because the understanding is not very strong, is not philosophically sound. The shastra shraddha is not developed. So there is an insecurity that I am doing right. To prove I am doing right, we have to prove others are wrong. And that's how the psychology works. And people don't want to listen that you are wrong. Then it becomes a very unconducive environment in the house. Here also, Prabhupada writes, and Krishna tried to stop the war and mitigate the misunderstanding between the cousin brothers. They refused to accept his counsel. Therefore, Kshatar Vidra was unsatisfied with them and he left the palace. As a devotee, Vidra showed by example that anywhere that Krishna is not honored is a place unfit for human habitation. A devotee may be tolerant regarding his own interest, but he should not be tolerant when there is misbehavior towards the Lord or the devotees, Lord's devotees. Here, the word Agavan is very significant, for it indicates that the Kauravas, Dhritarashtra's sons, lost the war because of being sinful in disobeying the instructions of Krishna. So, this is how things happen. If we disobey Lord's order, we are defeated. It's a defeat. Parabhavasthavada abodhajat. That's how the defeat comes. And Vidura was born from the body of Vedavyas and was not less than he. Thus, he accepted the lotus feet of Krishna wholeheartedly and was attached to his devotees. Prabhupada writes the history of Vidura is that he was born of a Shudra mother, but his seminal father was Vyasdev. Thus, he was not less than Vyasdev in any respect, since he was born of a great father. He was supposed to be an incarnation of Narayana and who composed all Vedic literature. Vidura was also a great personality. He accepted Krishna as a worshipable Lord and followed his instruction wholeheartedly because he's Yamaraj also. So it's like that. And Vidra was purified of all passion by wandering in sacred places. And at last he reached Haridwar. There he met great sage who knew the science of spiritual life and he inquired from him. Sanaka Rishi therefore asked, what more did Vidra inquire from Maitreya? The Prabhupada writes very huge purport. He says that here the word Virajas Tirtha Sevaya refers to Vidura, who was completely cleansed of all contamination by traveling to place of pilgrimage. In India, there are hundreds of sacred places of pilgrimage, of which Prayag, Haridwar, Vrindavan, Rameshwar are considered principal. After leaving his home, which was full of politics and diplomacy, Vidura wanted to purify himself by traveling to all the sacred places, which are so situated that anyone who goes there automatically becomes purified. This is true also. Like some places, if you go, there are two in mode of goodness. You will not be affected by passion. Cause. Like my friend, he went to Damodar Kund. This Damodar Kund is in Nepal. It's actually 1 day journey in horse It's a very, very cold and very far place. It's you have to generally people walk for 3 days. You don't have any food or anything. You take dry fruits and just walk. And somehow they got horses and they went. And he said that when you went there, this Damodar Kund, such a sacred place, you don't get sleep only. Means there is no ignorance. It's too much goodness. He said you are not feeling sleep. And some people they meditate in that area, so they don't feel sleepy because the place itself has that effect, automatically purifies. Because this is especially true in Vrindavan. Any person may go there, and even if he is sinful, he will at once contact an atmosphere of spiritual life and will automatically chant the names of Krishna and Radha. And that's very, very true. Many times the quality of chanting is less for us. Go to Vrindavan, immediately the quality improves. So much it improves without any, it's very gross level chanting also. Like mind is so distracted and everything. Go to Vrindavan, immediately you feel, oh, chanting is going on very soothing. As soon as you get into train or cab and leave Vrindavan, finish everything. After 1, 2 days, everything comes to normal. But Vrindavan, that we have actually seen and experienced purposes. It is recommended in the Shastras that after retiring from active life and accepting the Vanaprastha retired order, one should travel everywhere to places of pilgrimage in order to purify himself. Vidura completely discharged this duty and at last he reached Kushavata or Haridwar, where the sage Maitreya was sitting. And this is how we should spend the money. If you have money, go to holy places, travel all the holy places, chant nicely, take darshan, pray to the Lord. We should not go for sightseeing. Many people come there sightseeing because they, but we should go for praying and getting purified and making our consciousness spiritual. And because nowadays many people are going, but what they do is they just take the selfies or pictures and then they leave. So very unfortunate situation. They are not understanding the value only. Because now the facilities are also nicely, you have nice hotels, nice food. They think that they are coming to that places to stay nicely and eat nicely. No, that's not the purpose of going to the places for eating and staying in a nice air conditioned hotel. No, the purpose is to chant, pray, meditate, read Bhagavatam, hear Bhagavatam. That's how, that's the purpose of going to holy places. If that is not done, it's like any other Manali, Ooty or Shimla, any other Lonavala, such places it will be. It does not have much value. Of course, there is value because some great personalities have chanted there and worship. There will be some effect, but not the derived, desired result will not come. And here, the that is what is done. Now, Prabhupada is very clearly telling. Another significant point is that one must go to sacred places not only to take bath there, but to search out great sages like Maitreya and take instructions from them. If one does not do so, his traveling to place of pilgrimage simply waste of time. That's all. Narottam Das Thakur, a great acharya of the Vaishnava sect, has for the present forbidden us to go to such places of pilgrimage because in this age the times having so changed, a sincere person may have a different impressions on seeing the behavior of present residents of pilgrimage sites. That is also another thing. People they're they they're in the holy people guise of a holy people. They go to holy place pilgrimage, they ask for money, they ask for donations, and they cheat also. And because of which people lose faith in uh, holy people and all these things. He has recommended that instead of taking the trouble to travel to such places, one should concentrate his mind on Govinda and that will help him. Of course, to concentrate one's mind on Govinda in any place is a path meant for those who are most spiritually advanced. It is not for ordinary persons. Ordinary persons may still derive benefit from traveling to holy places like Prayag, Mathura, Vrindavan, and Haridwar. Very important. We have to go to these places. Prabhupada is very clear. Ordinary may still derive benefit. We have to go to these places. Especially for us, Vrindavan, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri. These are the places recommended and compulsory we have to visit. Yeah. And this is going to make so much difference in our consciousness. We have to save money for these things only. People say, oh, it's so expensive. No, we have to save money for that only. The purpose of earning money is to go to holy places. The purpose of earning money is to we have to save time in our life so that we can spend time. Not that we are continuously earning at the age of 60, 70, 80s. That's not actually correct. After certain age, we should stop and then save the money. And that is, anyway, the tendency to save is there. Save money, go to Vrindavan, and no need of thinking. What happens now? People start thinking, okay, I will help my son to settle. Then they will try to settle their grandsons also. But that is not needed. Everyone will earn their own money. Why I should earn money for sons and grandsons? Let them make their money. You make your money. Give them some basic things, and then you go and work for your spiritual purification. That gives an example actually. That is the real help we are doing to family members. The real help is we have to retire from family life. That is the help we are doing. Because by that, what happens is they will also get very much elevated. They will also get benefited. They also knows that this is what I have to do in life. If they are sitting in the family only till age of 70, 80, not doing anything seriously spiritually, such a bad example. What the grandchildren will think, they are still interested in materialistic activities. That's not actually the ideal behavior. And it's damaging everyone. Now we have to take example, we have to take that risk of giving up. What is the problem is that you think, oh, if I don't take care, what will happen to them? Nothing will happen. Krishna will take care. You take care of your spiritual life. And that is the real care we can do for our dependents. By our taking Krishna consciousness seriously, not interested in family life, what how we are taking care is giving them a good example that this is what you also have to do. So they will also at the age of 50, 60, they'll say, okay, fine with me. I am also done. And in that way, they are elevated. Otherwise, it's a setting bad example. And now they say, I want to train my grandson in becoming a devotee. If you want to train your grandson in becoming devotee, then don't do anything. Just practice Krishna consciousness seriously. The grandson will become a devotee. Just because of my staying there and my doing children and all. That is not actually the method. You have to practice yourself seriously. Your example is what is needed for the family, not stay and preaching. It won't work like that. It's all we have to develop the detachment internally. Without me, also everything will work, and that is true. Everything will work nicely without us also. We have to prepare from now only. If we are not so old, we are in 30s, our mind is already prepared. Programming should be done now. It is not that okay, at the age of 50, I'll start preparing. It will not work like that. If we has not practice the detachment slowly, it won't work. We have to develop the detachment. That is the wealth we should develop. Jnana, Vairagya, both will come. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janetyasu Vairagyam Jnanam Chada Hetukum. We are doing proper bhakti means Vairagya should be it's a byproduct. It should come automatically. It's a very safe situation for us and for everyone also because it's so difficult to cut the knots in the heart if we have not cultivated it consciously. People don't know. Like they think that they're dedicated to their work, and that's what is. their devotion, their work, and everything. That is not correct. We have to separately do it for Krishna. That is correct. This is all this is all illusion, Maya. We will be caught up if we have not developed sufficient vairagya. It is recommended in this verse that one find a person who knows the science of God or a tattvavit, means one who knows the absolute truth. There are many pseudo transcendentalists even at the place of pilgrimage. Such men are always present, and one has to be intelligent enough to find the actual person to be consulted. Then one's attempt to progress by traveling to different holy places will be successful. One has to be free from all contamination at the same time. He has to find a person who knows the science of Krishna. Krishna helps a sincere person. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Guru Krishna Prasadepaya. By the mercy of spiritual master and Krishna, one attains the path of salvation, devotional service. If one sincerely searches for spiritual salvation, then Krishna being situated in everyone's heart gives him the intelligence to find a suitable spiritual master, and with the grace of spiritual master like Maitreya, one gets the proper instructions and advance in his spiritual life. So this is we have to fight against the Maya and we have to be sincere. Krishna will send a sincere, very bona fide spiritual master. So if somebody is getting cheating spiritual master means he also has some cheating tendency. If he's sincere, he will never get a he will if he has some tendency of cheating, then he will get a cheating guru. And then if he again becomes sincere, he will get rid of that cheating guru. That cheating guru will nicely cheat, and this person will come to his senses and then find a proper guru also. That is very much possible. So the responsibility lies with us only to be sincere. I want to know the truth. I should not compromise on anything, something middle. Then I will end up some in between somewhere and cheating or something. Now that is also another. We have to be sincere in getting out of this material world. We should not feel okay. We should not compromise. Then, even though we may have conditionings very strongly, conditionings will be very strong, but we should not compromise on knowing the truth and understanding truth. That is the difference. Then we will get a proper person. I may be very having so many bad qualities, bad habits, so many things, but I should have one sincerity that let me know what is the truth and let me follow it. That sincerity is what is important. Then that's not a problem. Sanaka inquired about the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. There must be there must have been many narrations of spotless pastimes of the Lord. The hearing of such narrations is exactly like bathing in the water of river Ganges, for it can free one from all sinful reactions. So, Prabhupada writes, the water of Ganges is purified because it pours forth from the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita is as good as the water of Ganges because it is spoken from the mouth of Supreme Lord. So, it is with any topic on the pastimes of Lord or the characteristics of his transcendental activities. The Lord is absolute. There is no difference between his words, his uh, respirations, or his pastimes. The water of Ganges, the narrations of his pastimes, and the words spoken by him are all on absolute platform. This is very important to understand that uh, there is something called absolute also. People think that everything in this world is relative. Like, say, I'll give an example. Like, we are telling this is right, this is wrong. On what basis we tell something is right and wrong? We say it's what you like. No, whether abortion is right or wrong. For some countries it is right, some countries it is wrong. So you say, oh, it's a relative thing. Today it is right, tomorrow it is wrong. And how can you say non-veg is good or bad? So they say it's all relative. In this world, there is no absolute. That is not correct. There are absolute truth also in this world, which cannot be changed, applicable to all the time, all circumstances. So there are something which are absolute. And this is what is the point we need to understand. We can get to the absolute point where it is everybody, it is right only, no matter who you are. Now it is not, some things are not right for some people, right for some people in this world. But there should be something called absolute, which is right for everyone. And these are only things that are absolute, which are directly connected to the Lord. The his paraphernalia, his pastimes, or the words spoken by him, and all these things are on an absolute platform. And thus taking shelter of any of them is equally good. Srila Rupa Goswami has enumerated that anything in relation with Krishna is on the transcendental platform. This is an absolute platform. This is where we can say, like, uh, now, like, I am telling this, the water boils at 100 degrees. So now we say, okay, let me prove it. How to prove? You have an apparatus to prove it. Then you kept a thermometer, 100 degrees, water is boiling. Then you say, okay, see, it is boiling. You say, no, how can I know that this water is proper water? You might have mixed some chemicals in it. So, okay, let me test the water first. Now you are using a machine to test the water. What is the proof that that machine is showing the correct thing? Okay, you create another machine which will test that machine. Then what is the guarantee that the second machine? Okay, you make a third machine. And what about the thermometer? How can you say that this thermometer is showing the right thing? Okay, now test the thermometer. And to test the thermometer, you need another thing. So if you go like that, tarko apratishto sutayo vibhinna, you can never get to a conclusion. You end up in, there is nothing you can prove. Okay, this is the absolute. You're understanding. In this material world, everything is relative only in that. You can say this is this much in relation to something else. You cannot give an absolute. But there is something called absolute, which is at the level on the transcendental plane, which is an absolute, which is say, okay, this is. And that's why Mahajano Yanagatasya Panta and Lord Chaitanya says that Shastra is absolute because directly coming from the Lord. You cannot counter Shastra. If Shastra is saying this is right, means this is right only. Conch shell is pure, even though it is born of a animal, it is pure. Our bone is impure. If you touch it, you have to take bath. But for conch shell, you blow in front of Lord. No, it's pure. Cow dung is pure. Pure means pure. Now, so this is actually what is called absolute. You cannot question. If one can dovetail all our activities in relation with Krishna, then we do not stand on the metal platform, but always on the spiritual platform. So we can come to an absolute platform. You're understanding the point. We need to take shelter. You see, very clearly it is said. We need to take shelter, and taking shelter of any one of them is equally good. That means taking shelter on absolute platform is always good. Otherwise, it's all relative in this world. So this is the point. Osuta Goswami, all good fortune to you. Please narrate the activities of Lord, which are all magnanimous and worth glorifying. What sort of devotee can be satiated by hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord? So this is like this relative. Hope you are understanding. In this world, everything is relative only. Only what is connected to the Supreme Lord is absolute, and we have to try to understand it in that way only. Otherwise, we'll get caught up with the relative truths of this world, and people are so much like whole day we hear the news, or not devotees, but outside they hear the news, or they do this, they hear this, that, they read books, they get knowledge. All are relative only. That's why they cannot be happy all the time because they are taking shelter of relative things. They continue to remain. Uh, they continue to remain in a relative state: pleasure, pain, happiness, distress. we come to an absolute plane, then we will be free from this duality also. And Prabhupada writes, again, he continues the same point here. He says the narrations of pastimes of Lord, which are always enacted on the transcendental platform, should be received with all respect by devotees. Those who are actually on the transcendental platform are never satiated by hearing the continuous narrations of the pastimes of the Lord. For example, if any self realized soul reads the Bhagavad Gita, he will never feel satiated. The narrations of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam may be read thousands and thousands of times. Still, without fail, new aspects of subject matter will be relished by the devotees. This is another very important. It is said that even Vyasdev is reading Bhagavad Gita in Uttar Badri because it's a new thing every time because it's on a absolute level. It is unlimited only in one way. It can give us so much every time new. Let's say uh, there is we can relish it more because it is it can give unlimited aspects, different aspects. So the same pastime of the Lord they are hearing again and again and again. It gives a different transcendental bliss. Now also, no, so many years we are hearing Damodar Leela, and still we have spoken many times, we heard many times. Every year Kartik month comes, and then there is Damodar again, and still devotees attend, they hear. How is it possible? Because it's an absolute platform. Lord, same thing with Ramayana. We have discussed this point also at Ramayana. Ramayana is so deep. For millenniums, the stories are going, movies are made, cartoons are made, books are written, songs are written, and the dance, dramas, this, that, everything. And still Ramayana is fresh. Even Indian movie industries, there must be tens of movies on Ramayana. And still people are still taking movies and Ramayana. And people will watch also because that depth is there in it. It's an absolute level that is made. So like that. एवं विग्रश्रवा पृष्ठा ऋषिभिर्नैमिषायणैः भगवत् अर्पिताध्यात्मस्थानाः सूयतामिति. On being asked to speak by the sages, great sages of Naimisharanya, the son of Romaharshan Sutta Goswami, whose mind was absorbed in the transcendental pastimes of Lord, said, please hear what I shall now speak. Sutavacha Harerdakrodhatano Swamayaya Nishamya Ghoruttaranam Visharasatala लीलां हिरण्याक्षमवज्ञया हतं सञ्जात हर्षो मुनिराह भारत. So the Goswami continued. Vidra, the descendant of Bharata, was delighted to hear the story of the Lord who, having assumed by his own divine potency the form of boar, had enacted the sport of lifting the earth from the bottom of the ocean and indifferently killed the demon Hiranyaksha. Vidra then spoke to the sage as follows. Prabhupada writes, it is stated here that the Lord assumed the form of a boar by his own potency. His form is not actually the form of a conditioned soul. This is very important. The conditioned soul is forced to accept a particular type of body by the higher authority of material laws. But here it is clearly said that the Lord was not forced to accept the form of a boar by the external power. That's why Janma Karma Chame Divyam. How Janma can be Divyam? Janma means you are being born again and again and again and again. Even the Lord is born again and again and again. Still it is Divyam. The speciality is like his birth is eternal birth. Like in this body, I am not born again. Now I'll be born means next body only. For Lord, the birth is continuously happening only. It never ends. Like now Krishna's Janmashtami comes for us, 26. And but Krishna's Janmashtami happening now also. Anywhere, some part of the creation, Krishna is always getting birth. So that's why his activities are not like anything. It's divya. It's a rising of sun. Sun is rising always. Now it has risen in India. Then sometime in the Middle East it is rising. After some time in Europe it is rising. The sun is always rising. Similarly, Krishna is always taking birth. That's why it is inconceivable. It is divya. It is from our perspective. It is always rising. In the sun god or sun people in the residence of on the planet of sun, there is no rising of sun only. They are always in the sun. But from our point of view. So when Krishna is telling my Janma and Karma are Divyam, it is from our point of view, it's always happening. But Krishna's point of view, it's just one event. But somehow it is like that for us. It's little difficult to conceive. But this is what Krishna is trying to explain. And he's not forced. Like how it is. Anyway, I'll not go for the time thing. Little bit. In Bhagavad Gita, the same fact is confirmed. When Lord descends to this earth, he assumes a form by his own internal potency. He says that the form of the Lord, therefore, can never consist of material energy. The Mayavadi version that when Brahman assumes the form, that form is accepted from Maya is not acceptable because although Maya is superior to the conditions, so she is not superior to Supreme Personality of God. She is under the control of Supreme Lord as confirmed in Yam. Maya Dikshena Prakriti. Maya is under my control. Avajananti Mamudha Manashim Tanmashta. This is actually the problem. They say that Sattaguna assumes form of Lord. Rajoguna living entities, Tamoguna the material nature. This is the explanation by the Mayavadis. These philosophies. The Sattaguna is transforms into only Brahman exists. And Brahman and in Sattaguna it is in the form of the Supreme Lord. In Rajoguna, the living entities, Tamoguna, the material nature. So this is their foolish understanding. The Mayavadi idea that the living entity is the supreme absolute truth but has been covered by Maya is invalid because Maya cannot be greater that it can cover the supreme. The covering capacity can be employed on the part and parcel of Brahman, not on the supreme Brahman. That is the point. विदुरवाच प्रजापतिपतिसृष्ट्वा प्रजासर्गे प्रजापतीन् किम् आरभते ब्रह्मन् प्रबुद्ध्य अव्यक्तमार्गवित्. Vidura says, since you know of the matters inconceivable to us, tell me, O holy sage, what did Brahma do to create living beings after evolving the Prajapatis, the progenitors of living beings? Prabhupada writes, significance here is the word Avyakta Markavid. One who knows that which is beyond our perception. To know matters beyond one's perception. One has to learn from a superior authority in the line of disciplic succession. Just to know who is our father is beyond our perception. For that, mother is the authority. Similarly, we have to understand everything beyond our perception from the authority who actually knows. The first Avyakta Margavit or authority is Brahma. And the next authority in the disciplic succession is Narada. Maitri Rishi belonged to that disciplic succession, so he also is Avyakta Margavit. Anyone in the bona fide line of disciplic succession is Avyakta Margavit, a personality who knows that which is beyond ordinary perception. And that is the way to very easily gain knowledge. That's why guru is very important. That's why bona fide guru is more important. Uh, and our sincerity is what is the required condition. If you are sincere to know, Krishna will arrange a bona fide guru. And by taking his guidance, we can understand what is the truth. Otherwise, no chance only. No matter how much research a person do, he can never reach. Pantastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayo ratapi manaso munipungavaram supyasti yat prabhadasinya vichincha tatvai govindamadi purusham tam. With our research, not possible to understand. But if you surrender to a guru, very much possible. And that is the method Krishna recommended, and he himself is doing when he comes as a different incarnation. He personally shows by his example, by accepting a guru himself. He has given the monopoly to great Vaishnavas to know about him. Why? Because that's what a spiritual world is, where they're having all good qualities and they're all very obedient, humble, grateful. And by accepting a guru, we are also developing the good qualities. And then we will be qualified and eligible to go to spiritual world. Because we don't want to surrender and submit. That's why we're in material world. If we are surrendered and submitting ourselves properly, then we can be in spiritual world. And then how to develop, we have to practice it. How? Accept a guru, practice it, go to spiritual world. That is a formula. And we cannot know because our senses and mind, we will be, we will be affected by an emotional state. That's why our knowledge is not correct. We will be biased. But if you have a person who is an absolute plane, who sees the spiritual world and he reveals it down as it is, seeing and giving a live commentary on what is happening in Goloka. It's like that. So with that, what happens? We will get real access of spiritual world. It's not a research work. Shastra is not research work. It is directly coming from the Lord. Next shloka says, ये मारीच्याधयो विप्रा यस्तु स्वयंभुवो मनुः ते वै ब्रह्मण आदेशात् कथम एतद् अभावयन्. Vidra inquired, how did the Prajapati, such progenitors of living entities as Marichi and Swayambhuva Manu, create according to the instructions of Brahma? How did they evolve this manifested universe? So they are given it now what they are doing. Satvitiya Kim Srijan Swatantra Utakarmashu Aho Svit Sambata Sarva Idam Sma Sankalpayan. Did they evolve the creation in conjunction with their respective wives? Did they remain independent in their action? Or did they all jointly produce it? So without the help of wife also they can create. They are so powerful. Brahma don't need his wife to create project. He just created. And Prajapatis also have a big capacity like that. Maitreya Vacha Daivena Durvi Kartena Parena Nivishena Cha Jato Kshobhat Bhagavato Mahan Asid Gunatrayat. Maitreya said, when the equilibrium of the combination of the three modes of nature was agitated by the unseen activity of living entity by Mahavishnu and by the force of time, the total material elements are produced. This is very important. Why again Maitreya is talking about creation, which is already told. If you count, it comes almost like 6 times the creation is explained. 5 to 6 times. Why it is like that? Because it's a sadhana. Sadhana means you have to repeat again and again and again, so that the thing will fit into the system very nicely. We have to repeat the mantra, then only it is sadhana. It says mantra is very powerful. One time chanted done. Na? Why again and again sitting for 2 hours chanting the same thing and then day in and day out chanting the same thing? Why it is needed? Because it is sadhana. We have to fit our mind into that system properly. Our mind is not accepting. And we discussed this also, the Kajalikam, the process of Kajalikam in Ayurveda. There's a medicine called Makaradvaja. It's a mixture of mercury and sulfur, which they gave it to Prabhupada also. Last time the Vaidya he gives little bit to Prabhupada. They say because of the overdose, Prabhupada became very sick. I don't know, it's whatever. But the process is you have to mix sulfur with mercury. If you try to touch mercury, you cannot hold mercury. Quite difficult. So sulfur, it initially does not mix, but slowly, at one point they move them together. At one point they become one. So it becomes very powerful medicine. Now here also, if you see that mind is not accepting certain things. So you have to repeat it again and again and again. So the creation, it is explained so many times in second canto and third canto. So many times it is coming. Here also Maitra is again telling about it because this is called, that's because it's sadhana. Of course, the second canto is called sadhana tattva. First is adhikara tattva. The qualification to hear Bhagavatam. Second canto is sadhana. Sadhana basically is repeating. So here third canto also same thing. The creation is again repeated because of only that one purpose to uh, make our mind fit. And Prabhupada writes the cause of metal creation, writes very huge purpose. The cause of metal creation is described here very lucidly. The first called is Daiva, or the destiny of the conditioned souls. This is Kala, Karma, and Swabhava. So first is Daiva, or the destiny, and also Karma. The material creation exists for the conditioned souls who want to become a false lord for sense enjoyment. This is the point. We have this programming to be enjoyer in this world. The operating system is only like that. All our laptops and mobiles, now we have certain operating system. Now we are having Android. No? This has operating system. Now you cannot work. You cannot open Windows in this. But laptop you have Windows. And so there are different in this now certain apps don't come in laptop. In mobile we can have apps. So, like that. So there are different operating systems. Now what is the operating system that is for us now is the false ego. And all the programs are run in false ego only. And we are happily caught up in this material world with this false ego. What am I? Who am I? How much I am? What my car? What my house? What my children? What my husband? What my wife? All these things are identified very strongly. And it forces us to work in a particular way. The programming is done on the false ego, what is it? Operating system of false ego. And only that programs work. That's why the material existence, the material creation exists for the conditioned souls who wanted to become false lord of for sense enjoyment. One cannot trace out the history of when the conditioned souls was desired to lord it over material nature. But in Vedic literatures, we always find that the material creation is meant for the sense enjoyment of the conditioned souls. There is nice which says that the sum and substance of the conditioned soul's enjoyment is that as soon as he forgets his primary duty to render service to the Lord, he creates an atmosphere of sense enjoyment, which is called Maya. Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Aparata Chetas. So this is Bhoga and Aishwarya. Many shlokas are there. Another Prabhupada writes, another word used here is Durvikritena. No one can argue about when and how the condition source becomes desires of sense enjoyment. But the cause is there. Material nature is an atmosphere meant only for sense enjoyment of condition souls, and it is created by personality. So it is only for our enjoyment. This world is created. Follow the rules and enjoy. Very much possible. It is mentioned here that in the beginning of creation, the material nature of Prakriti is agitated with the Supreme Lord. Then all these things we have discussed. The first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam discusses all the three Vishnus. In Bhagavad Gita, we also learn that the Prakriti begins to work and is still working under Krishna or Maya Dikshena Prakriti. But one should not mistakenly think that because the creation emanates from Supreme Personality God, He has therefore transformed into material cosmic manifestation. No. So, Lord is always in the three forms. So, whenever He is expanding, it is energy, or when He is everywhere present, it is Paramatma. When He is everywhere, everything is in Him, that is Virat Rupa, and then there is Bhagavan. So, all the things are there for the Supreme Lord. So, this is a very important understanding we should have. So, whenever you hear the description, I will just share the screen. So this tattva in the first chapter of first canto, it says Vadanti tat tattva, this tattva is jnanam. So here it's non-dual, it's advayam. So it is in the Brahman form also, Paramatma form also, Bhagavan. It's all one only. It's non-dual. There are no difference. In Brahman form, in personal form, is the energy, Shakti. Pancha Mahabhutas, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, Tanmatras, everything is this Brahman form of Lord. But when any description comes that Lord is present in all living entities, it is mentioning about Paramatma feature, all living entities, I am in them. And when he's saying that all living entities are in me, then he's talking about Virat Rupa form. When it is told that I am separate from it, then he's talking about Bhagavan form. And all three are one only, they are Advayam, non-dual. So, Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yat jnanam advayam. This tattva jnana is advaya jnana. It's non-dual, means not no difference. In Brahman, Paramatma Bhagavan non-different. And when there is an explanation that it is the energy, then it is talking about this Brahman feature. Lord is the energy, Lord is this, Lord is fire, Lord is water, Lord is this. It is talking about the Brahman feature. When it's talking Lord is in everything, it is talking about Paramatma feature. When everything is in the Lord, it is talking about Virat Rupa. This is a temporary form. And then separate is Bhagavan. So like that, we have all the descriptions like that. We should not get confused. And here also Prabhupada is trying to tell the same thing. That one should not mistakenly think that because the creation emanates from Supreme Personality of God, he has therefore transformed into this metal cosmic. No, he exists in his personal form always. So when there is what impersonist or any people do, they take that shlokas only and say, see, Lord is telling, Aham Krutar, Aham Yajna, I am this, I am that. That means he is impersonal Brahman. No, no, impersonal Brahman is one aspect only. It's not complete. When he's telling, I am presenting all living entities, that means he's separating himself from living entities. Now, I am present in them means I am separate and that object is separate. And then when Lord is telling all living entities are in me, then he's talking about Virat Rupa form. And when he says I am separate from all these things, then he's talking about Bhagavan feature like that. So we should know very clearly the difference. That's why we are Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. It is Achintya, inconceivable, and Bheda and Abheda, both are there. It is one also and separate also. That's the philosophy. Right. As impelled by the destiny of the Jiva, the false ego, which is of three kinds, evolved from the Mahatattva, in which the elements of Rajas predominates. And the ego in turn evolves many groups of five principles. So again and again, these things are told to, because it's a sadhana, we have to repeat. So the system goes in very deeply. More we repeat, more it causes impressions like that. The predominant matter of Prakriti and then all these things you all know. I will not read. Of course, sadhana we have to do it again and again. But we'll save some time with तानि चैकैकसृष्टिम् असंवृतानि भौतिकं संहृत्य दैवयोगेन हैमम् अण्डम् अवासृजन्. Separately unable to produce the material universe, they combined with the help of the energy of Supreme Lord and were able to produce a shining Shakti. सैष्ठाब्दि सलिले अंडकोशो निरात्मकः सागरं वै वर्षसाहस्रम् अन्ववातिष् अन्ववातीष्टम् ईश्वरः. For over 1,000 years, the shining egg lay on the water of the causal ocean in the lifeless state. Then the Lord entered it as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So they are all Purusha forms of the Lord. They are all neutral. They only just help in creation, maintain destruction. They don't separately do leelas and be partial of anything. They're very neutral because they're Paramatma. Paramatma features. यस्य नाभिरभूत्पद्मम् सहस्रारो सहस्रार्को दिभिः धीदिति सर्वजीवनैकायुक्तो यत्र स्वयम् अभूतस्वराट्. From the navel of the personality of God and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu sprouted a lotus flower, effulgent like a thousand blazing suns. This lotus flower is the reservoir of all conditioned souls, and the first living entity who come out of the lotus flower was the omnipotent Brahma. It appears from this verse that the conditioned souls who rested within the body of personality of Godhead after the dissolution of the last creation came out in the sum total form of the lotus. This is called Hiranyagarbha. The first living entity to come out was Lord Brahma, who is independently able to create the rest of the material universe. Here, the lotus is said to be as effulgent as the glare of the thousand suns. This indicates that the living entity as part and parcel of Supreme Lord are also of the same quality, since the Lord also diffuses his bodily glare known as Brahmajyoti. The description of Vaikuntha Loka, as stated in Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures, is confirmed here. In Vaikuntha, the spiritual Natat Bhasyate Suryo, Nashashanko Napavakaha. So there is no electricity, there is no moonshine, fire, or all these things are not needed. They will be there, but it is not needed. So anuvishto bhagavata yashchete shalilasaye loka samsthanam yata purvam nirme samstaya swaya. When that Supreme Personality of Godhead who is lying on the Garbhodaka ocean entered the heart of Brahma, Brahma brought his intelligence to bear, and with the intelligence invoked, he began to create the universe as it was before. So Tene Brahma Hridayadika. So the Lord gives that intelligence and manifests in the heart. At certain time, nice purport, the personality of God, Vishnu lies in Karana ocean, produces many thousands of universes. He enters again into each and every Prabhupada writes, the other half of the universe is vacant, and that vacant region is called outer space. When the lotus flower sprouts from his abdomen and produces the first living creature, then again the Kshirodaksha Vishnu enters into heart of living entities and he witnesses the activity. So this is actually what Lord is doing. He gives intelligence remembrance. Brahma is the first creature and he is empowered by Supreme Lord to act in certain mode of passion. Now, Prabhupada writes the creative power, therefore, of every living entity is not his own. It is by the grace of Lord that one can create. There are many scientists and great workers in the material world who have wonderful creative force, but they act and create only according to the directions of Supreme Lord. The scientist may create many wonderful inventions by the direction of Lord, but it is not possible for him to overcome the stringent laws of mental nature. So, by his intelligence, nor is it possible to acquire such intelligence from the Lord. For the Lord's supremacy would have been hampered. It is stated in this verse that Brahma created the universe as it was before. This means that he created everything by the same name and form as previously. Inside that, my is telling, first of all, Brahma created from his shadow, the covering of ignorance of the conditioned souls. They are five in number and are called Tamasa, Tamishra, Andatamishra, Tamaha, Moha, and Mahamoha. We'll also do this tomorrow because this is a different topic. Thank you all very much. Any questions, comments before we end?